Alright, so I've never done this before. So I got a guy hit me up. He asked me to review his comic. He did a one shot. He's got a Kickstarter. I'm going to put in the description and I'll put it on the screen too. But yeah, he asked me, he paid me to review his comic. What's funny is when I talked to this guy, he was telling me how the reason that he asked me is because he used to look at my Chainsaw Man reviews and, he liked my style. And then I ended up looking at his comic because I've looked at some indie comics before, and they can be pretty all over the place because obviously it's like how, like, if you were to pick up a manga that you didn't know what genre it was whatsoever, it could be anywhere. You have no real kind of grasp. It's not like, oh, this is in Shonen Jump, so it's going to be a Shonen thing, or something in the case of like Marvel or DC or Dark Horse or anything where it's like it's going to be within the confines of like whatever the publisher deals with. But because it's an indie comic, then you have absolutely no idea. But like the thing that I definitely like going into this was when the guy was mentioning that he knew me from my Chainsaw Man videos, and then I read his one shot. It actually has a really strong Chainsaw Man vibe. Like, it has a similar kind of tone with like the characters and the main character a little bit as well. Like, I actually enjoyed what was going on with him, but everything right now about this seems pretty intriguing. The premise, at least from what I can tell, granted this is a one shot. I don't know how long this guy intends to make the series. I can't like take a firm grasp on like large scale plot stuff. I have no idea. Like, this again is a one shot. It's only supposed to be a sampler. But the main character of this guy, his name is Gimp, and at least that's what they call him. And he's like this dude in a suit with like this weird leather mask, and I guess he goes after people who like do stiff prostitutes and like do them dirty. So he goes and gets their money back for them and does stuff. And as well as like, at least from what I can tell in the later portion, he'll even go after like this crazy killer. And I'm wondering about the premise in the story, like when it actually gets into like how it's gonna go. Like Chainsaw Man Chapter 1 obviously was its own thing, but then it ended up going into the whole stuff with Denji being a devil hunter and being with that whole group and everything. So maybe like it's gonna be a same world but like different kind of setting whenever it gets to the actual main plot. Because I feel like after going after this serial killer dude, maybe his thing will be going after deranged people, like sending a psycho to hunt down a psycho kind of thing. Because like the dude definitely looks like he's a lunatic with his mask and stuff. And he really likes to kick people. He really likes to jump kick the hell out of people. Like, I definitely noticed that. He just wants to brawl. It doesn't seem like anybody has any powers in this series. It looks like this dude is just an extremely physically capable human. I never saw anything that at least seemed like there was going to be any abilities in it. Either way, like the whole chapter kind of starts out, he's chasing down a guy who, like, again, like stiff the prostitute. He goes in and beats the shit out of him, gets his money, brings it back to this woman, and then afterwards he gets a call from this other woman who's saying how that there's like this dangerous guy that he's causing a problem. She's not really sure what his deal is and like what he's up to, but they're sending in Gimp to go after him. And there's like a bunch of dead bodies of like these women on tarps. He's like outside a shrine. Like, I wonder how like that guy exactly like would even get away like that long with it. Like, how fast would he have to be? I know he's setting out fire, but like there's no way that like whoever like operates that temple, that shrine, wouldn't like be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, maybe we should do something about this absolute wackadoo who's got a bunch of dead bodies outside just getting ready to set on fire, and they're naked on top of that. But he actually has a lot of interesting questions, and I think it's gonna, again, this is a one shot, so I think this is gonna go into like the style of the series, because you have this guy who's bringing up how he knew this dude who worked at like a prison 27 years. He kind of kept to himself. He never really brought anything. And then when he found out there was like a lot of issues with his family life at home, like he says, his skin of security, I think is what he called it, starts to peel back, and you start to see more of the weaker man. And like you can see where like that stress and trauma and it's like the hardships were really starting to weigh him down, and how like his job made him quit, and he eventually like started having like a drinking problem, and he was having trouble like even kind of like keeping his job down and like holding himself together. And this dude is like asking about questions about like God and free will, and like one of the things he says is like, is it better to have free will and to suffer than to not suffer and have no free will? I think that's a really good question to ask, but it makes me think with the whole idea of like asking about free will is if like that is going to be like a big theme of the series, because like I said, if this dude Gimp is going to go after other crazy people, like other, well, he doesn't seem like a serial killer crazy, but he just seems kind of crazy. If he goes after like all these lunatics who are like, they just do crazy things, like they do crazy things, but at the base root of it, it's like because they want to, because they have the will to do it, and it like really playing off of like what people can just do because of their own capabilities, their own free will, and what their own desires are. I think that will provide like a really strong base for the series. Again, I have no idea the extent of it. I gotta wait for the actual series to come out, but I definitely enjoyed this one shot. I thought this was pretty good. The art reminded me a lot of Chainsaw Man as well, but it's pretty solid for like an indie comic. Usually like indie comics can again be super hit and miss. Like a lot of the time I see people do indie stuff, like it can look rough, because obviously like if they're doing it from their own accord, they're not like a super pro who's got like a team of like 15 people. But it's like, this was solid. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot better than I expected it was going to be. The whole like killer aspect of it has a strong kind of Poland vibe. So I definitely will recommend it. I'll put the link in the description for the guy's Patreon. Go check it out. I'll put it on the screen one more time. And yeah, I definitely would recommend this, because the last thing I want to mention, indie comics definitely, especially when you get ones like inspired by like with some of these series like Chainsaw Man, something that's super hype like that, it's definitely gonna see the light of day, and I'm hoping this guy's series will go well. It looks like he's doing pretty good now on the Kickstarter, and it's like picking up speed. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, appreciate everyone's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Go check out that guy's Kickstarter though. But other than that, thank you all for listening. Bye.